A very good morning, everybody. We are working on select data from MySQL. Now we are going to learn the select statement. In our previous tutorials, we have learned creation of database, connection, then creation of tables, insertion of values, insertion of multiple values, and also we have learned the prepare statement. Now we are going to learn how we select the data from a table and then display it. Either you want to display it on a web page or you wish to display it on a in PHP MySQL under PHP part. Now on the under database part, which we are going to work on it. Now you can see that select data from a MySQL database. Now in this, select name of the columns from table name. Select star from table name. This is going to select all the columns and all the values from a table. Now you can see that in this we are going to work with this. Select ID, first name, last name from my guest. This is the query which we are going to process it over here. Now select ID. So this query it is going to select ID, first name, last name from my guest. So this is the name of the table. Now you can see that ID, first name, last name is displayed on the screen. Now if we just wish to select whatever column if we want to select, we can write the name over here. Now if we type it over here star, it is going to display all the columns and all the values of the database. Now you can see that registration underscore date, that is reg underscore date, is also visible now. So all the columns are visible. This is how the select query process with us. Now you can see that how we are going to select the data and display it on a web page from a table. Now from this part we are going to take the server name, username, password, database name, creation of tables, and then we have the SQL. SQL is select ID, first name, last name from the name of the table. It is going to process the query and going to save the data in $_result. Since the table and the data can be more than one, now it is going to give a result in an array form. Now we are going to display the array. Now you can see that we are going to start if the result num underscore. Now if the value of this $result is greater, now it is going to count the number of rows from the result. Whatever value we got it in an array form, and that form, what is that? If it is greater than 0, that means yes, at least one value was visible, then it is going to display the value. Now we are going to use the while loop to display things. Now using the while loop, it is going to fetch the each and every record, and then it is going to display on the screen. This is what we are trying to do with this. Now this is going to fetch the record and then it is going to display. Now you can see that this is an array. Now row ID, row first name, and this value. Now every time it is going to process to the next statement. Now let us try to execute this. We have to confirm the name of the database that we are going to use. Yes, this is the name of the database we are going to work with this. We have written the query and now we just need to display the entire thing on the screen. Now you can see that using the while loop we have displayed the entire thing on the web page. Now if we have already executed the query over here and shown how the data can be extracted and shown in PHP MyAdmin part. Then it is on the web page. Now the code lines to explain from the web. First we have set up an SQL query that selects the ID, first name, last name, columns from the my guest table. Now the next line of the code that runs the query and puts the resulting data into the variable called $result. Now the function num underscore rows checks if there are more than 0 rows returned. Now if there are more than 0 rows returned, the function fetch underscore associate put all the result into an associative array that we can loop through. Now the while loop through the result set and outputs the data from the ID, first name and last name. Now the following example shows the same thing using MySQL procedural part. Now in this you can see that we have the SQL query and here we have processed the query. Now the result. Now we are trying to count the number of rows from the result. If it is greater than 0, that means we have got at least 1. Now after this we are going to fetch the result from the result part, which is going to be converted into an array, and then we display each and every part and it will process to the end of the array. Now similar way we processed with the object oriented part. Now how we are going to work with this? Selection of query, processing of query, and then we are going to work with this. Similar wise we work with the PDO plus prepare statement. Now you can see that we have this entire thing is going to display it in PDO form into a table. This is the designing of the table, class table rows. Now let us run this code, set of codes. Name of the database is MyDB. We have to check the name of the table now. My guess is the name of the table. My guess is the name of the table. Now this is how we show it in a table form. You can see that in the web page we are trying and executing it from the web page and executing it and showing it in a table form. It selects the ID, first name, last name columns from MySQL guest and display it in the HTML table.